The ship landed softly on the silver moon of Thurles. Alex looked out the window, his heart beating a little faster. He was just a human engineer, born on a quiet mining colony. He fixed machines, not royal crowns. Yet the message had been clear. The Alari royal court needed someone to restore a damaged ceremonial crown, and somehow they chose him. As he stepped off the ship, 2 tall Alari guards greeted him. They wore long blue robes and had skin that shimmered like starlight. Their eyes held no warmth, only duty. "Follow us, human," one of them said flatly. Alex nodded. He didn't expect kindness. The Alari were proud and ancient, didn't mix with other species, especially not Deathworlders like humans. Still, he kept his head up as he walked through the wide crystal halls of the palace. Inside, everything glowed faintly. The floors were like glass, but strong. The walls had patterns that shifted like water. It was beautiful but cold. No laughter, no chatter, just quiet footsteps and unreadable faces. They led him to a room filled with light. A work table stood. In the middle, and on it, carefully placed on a soft cloth, was the crown. His breath caught. It was old, yet it looked alive. Golden metal formed into twisting lines, shaped like vines, with gems that pulsed slowly like heartbeats. Some were cracked. One side of the crown was bent. It looked like it had suffered in silence. "This is the task," the same guard said. "You are not to speak to the princess unless spoken to. Touch nothing else. You will sleep here." They pointed to a small room off to the side. Then they left. Alex walked to the crown slowly. His fingers hovered over it. The material was something rare, maybe living alloy? Couldn't tell yet. He opened his tool case and began with gentle scans. Hours passed. He spoke no words. Only soft beeps from his scanner broke the silence. Then he heard a sound. Soft footsteps. He turned, and there she was. Princess Laina. She was tall, graceful, and looked both young and old at the same time. Her skin had a soft violet tone, and her long silver hair flowed behind her like mist. Her eyes, a deep green, studied him carefully. "Are you the one who will fix it?" she asked, voice calm. Alex stood quickly. "Yes, Your Highness." She walked closer, stopping near the table. "You're human." He nodded, unsure what to say. She looked at the crown. "My mother wore it at the Treaty of Moons. I wore it at the peace ceremony when I turned 10. And then it broke during the fall of her reign." Alex saw a flash of sadness in her eyes. Then it was gone. "I will take care of it," he said quietly. "Good," she said, then turned and walked away. The next day she returned. She said nothing at first. She just watched him work. Alex tried to stay focused, but he felt her eyes on him. "Why did you take this job?" she asked suddenly. "I didn't choose it," he answered. "I was chosen. I don't know why." She looked at him longer, then sat on a nearby chair. "You handle it gently. It's important," he said. She tilted her head. "Most humans would rush, break something trying to fix it faster." He gave a small smile. "These machines have a rhythm. You have to listen." She looked away, but he noticed her lips move slightly, almost like a smile. In the days that followed, she came more often. Sometimes she asked questions. Sometimes she shared little pieces of her life. Stories about Alari festivals, old songs, her duties as heir. Lex didn't speak much about himself, but when he did, she listened. One day she brought him a small meal. "You didn't eat yesterday." He blinked. "I forgot." She frowned. "Even engineers must eat." He smiled again. "Yes, Your Highness." That night, after she left, Alex touched the side of the crown where a broken gem had fallen out. He pulled out a new one from his pack, but it didn't fit. He sighed. The crown was rejecting the replacement. He looked around the room. Everything was so quiet. He whispered, "What are you made of?" The crown didn't answer, of course. But the glow pulsed once, then settled. On the 4th day, while fixing a delicate edge, Alex's hand slipped. A sharp edge cut his finger. "OW," he hissed, pulling back. Blood welled up. Before he could grab a cloth, a soft hand reached out. Lyanna stood beside him, wrapping a fine silk around his hand. You should be careful, she said softly. I'm sorry, he muttered. She held his hand a moment longer than needed. Then she let go. Don't rush, she said. You do good. Work when you're calm. Yes, Your Highness. She stepped back, but something in her gaze lingered. When she left, Alex sat there, staring at the half-fixed crown. He didn't understand what was happening. She was royalty, an alien. And yet, when she looked at him, something passed between them, like a shared silence that meant more than words. He worked late into the night, polishing the old metal until it reflected the light like water. The crown was almost ready. Just one last adjustment. And yet, for the first time, Alex wasn't sure if he wanted to finish the job quickly. The morning light in Thurles Palace was always soft, almost dreamlike, filtered through the tall crystal windows and gave the floor a golden shine. Alex sat at his work table, the crown resting in front of him, glowing faintly. He had barely slept. Too many thoughts kept him awake. Princess Laena had started coming to the workshop every day, not for duty, not out of suspicion, but for something else. At first, Alex wasn't sure, but now he felt it. It was in her eyes. It was in the way she stood close without speaking. In the silence they shared, he had repaired the broken arc of the crown the night before. Now only the centerpiece gem remained, the Heartstone. It pulsed with energy, but its connection was weak. Alex knew this part would be difficult. The crown responded to emotions, memories, and even thoughts. It wasn't just a device, it was alive in its own way. He heard the soft click of the door. She was there again. Laena walked in with calm steps, wearing a long blue robe trimmed with silver. Her hair was tied back today, but a few strands fell near her face. She didn't say anything right away. Instead, she moved to stand beside him. You've done well, she said finally. Thank you, Your Highness, Alex replied, keeping his voice steady. You don't need to call me that here, she said. Quietly, Alex paused. What should I call you then? Selena, she answered, her voice soft. Just Liena. When we are alone, he nodded slowly. All right, Liena.
Yes.
She smiled then. Not a small, polite smile, but a warm one. It surprised him. Do you miss Earth? She asked. He looked down. Sometimes. Stars look different here. The gravity's lighter and it's quiet. Too quiet. She asked. No, he said after a moment, just different. She sat on the edge of the nearby bench. I wonder what your world is like. People say it's wild, full of chaos and sound. They're not wrong, he chuckled, but it's also full of hope. Humans don't give up easily. Yes, she said thoughtfully. I've read stories. Your kind fights with everything, even when the odds are against you. He looked at her. Maybe that's why they call us Deathworlders. And yet here you are, fixing something delicate with so much care. Not everything on Earth is hard or wild, he said. Some things need quiet hands. They sat in silence for a while. The crown between them glowed softly. You're almost done, she said, looking at the crown. Alex nodded. Just the Heartstone left, but it's not stable. It never is, she replied. That stone holds memory. Felt pain when the palace was attacked. It remembers fear. Alex touched the edge gently. Then maybe it needs to feel something else now. She tilted her head. Like what? Trust, he said, or maybe peace. She looked at him carefully, as if trying to understand something deeper in his words. Got it. And how do you give that to a crown? Alex smiled. I don't know. Maybe it helps if someone who wears it feels those things too. Her smile faded, replaced by a quiet look of thought. That afternoon, she brought something with her. A small box, old and carved from dark wood. She placed it on the table. This belonged to my mother, she said. She was gentle. She led. With kindness, I want to be like her. Alex opened the box. Inside was a worn ribbon and a folded letter written in beautiful old script. The scent of old flowers still lingered. Thank you for showing me this, he said. It's the only thing I have left of her, Laena whispered. The crown, too. But sometimes I feel like it doesn't belong to me, like it waits for someone else. Alex reached out, careful, and held the ribbon in his hand. Maybe it's just waiting for you to be ready. Not as a ruler, but as yourself. There. Eyes met. No one spoke. The air between them felt heavier, but not in a bad way. Later, Alex adjusted the tools and began reconnecting the heartstone. His fingers moved slowly, feeling the pulse of the crown. The stone shimmered, flickered, then glowed with steady warmth. Lyanna stood beside him the whole time. She didn't move or speak, but her presence made the work feel easier. Suddenly, the crown pulsed brighter, lifted slightly from the table, only a few inches before settling back down. Alex pulled back, surprised. That's never happened before. Lyanna smiled. It knows you now. Or it knows you trust me, he said. She turned toward him, her voice softer. You're not like the others. I'm just someone doing his job, he replied. No, she said firmly. You listen, you speak with care. And when I'm near you, I don't feel like a symbol. I feel like myself. Alex looked down. That means more than you know. She took a step closer. Do you ever wonder why you were chosen for this? He nodded. Yes, every day. Maybe the crown didn't choose you, she whispered. Maybe I did. Alex blinked. You? I asked for someone different, she said. Not another perfect Alari craftsman. Someone who wouldn't see me as just a princess. Someone who would see me. Alex didn't know what to say. She leaned in slightly. You still don't see, do you? He opened his mouth but said nothing. She gave a soft laugh. Then keep working. Still have a little more time. With that, she turned and left the room. Alex stood still for a long while, heart pounding. The crown on the table now glowed steady and strong. But he wasn't looking at it anymore. His thoughts were somewhere else. Or maybe someone else. The palace buzzed with quiet tension. Banners were being raised. Servants moved fast, but careful. The Grand Hall was being prepared for the Unity Council, a rare gathering of Alari leaders from across the stars. This event would mark Princess Lyanna's return as official heir, and she would wear the crown again after many years. But in the hidden workshop near the edge of the palace, Alex worked in silence. The crown sat finished before him, glowing calmly like a sleeping heart. He had done it. The broken arc was restored. The cracked gems now shined. Even the heartstone pulsed with steady warmth. He should have felt proud. But something else filled his chest, something he didn't have a name for. The door opened. Lyanna entered, wearing white and gold. Her robes floated like air, and her silver hair was crowned in soft braids. Our eyes met his, and for a moment, neither spoke. Is it ready? She asked gently. Yes, Alex said, stepping aside. She looked down at the crown. Her fingers hovered above it, but she didn't touch it. It looks alive, she whispered. Maybe it just needed someone to believe in it again, Alex replied. She smiled at that, and slowly she picked it up and placed it in his hands. Put it on me, she said. Alex blinked. Me, she nodded. Yes, I want it to be you. His hands shook slightly as he stepped closer. She tilted her head forward. Carefully with both hands, he placed the crown on her head. It adjusted itself with a small pulse, like it knew her. And then just for a moment, the jewels on the crown shimmered in gold and green. Brighter than before, Lyanna opened her eyes. It feels right now. He stepped back, unsure of what to say, but his eyes didn't leave hers. Just then, the door opened again. A tall Alari advisor entered, robes stiff with high rank. His name was Sailor. His gaze moved quickly from the crown to Alex, then to Lyanna. Princess, Sailor said, bowing his head slightly. The council is gathering. It's time. Ready, she said calmly. But Sailor's eyes didn't leave Alex. What? The humans should not be here during the ceremony. What? It will send the wrong message. Lyanna's voice turned firm. He's the one who repaired the crown. His presence is not a threat. Still, Sailor said, voice low, rumors are already spreading. Your closeness to him will weaken your position. Alex lowered his eyes. He didn't want to cause problems, I understand, Alex said quickly. I'll stay here. Lyanna looked at him for a long moment. Her lips pressed into a thin line. Very well, she said at last. She turned and walked out with Sailor. But before the door closed, she looked back once. Later that night, the palace was lit with soft gold light. The ceremony was broadcast across the star systems. Alex watched it alone from a small screen in the workshop. Laena walked through the great hall with grace, the crown glowing on her head. She spoke of peace, duty, and unity. Her voice was strong. Her people listened. But when she paused for a moment, looked slightly toward the camera, and gave a tiny smile. Alex knew who that smile was for. After the ceremony, he expected everything to return to normal. Maybe she would stop visiting. Maybe his work was done. But the next day, just before sunset, Laena came to the workshop. "Walk with me," she said. They walked through the royal gardens where silver flowers opened under the twin moons. The air smelled sweet and clean. Alex followed her past quiet fountains and tall glowing trees. Finally, she stopped near a small stone bench. "This place was my mother's favorite," she said. "She used to say, 'You can't lie under moonlight.'" Alex sat beside her, unsure of what she wanted to say. "They want me to marry someone from the council," she said suddenly. Alex looked down. "It's tradition," she added. "A royal match for strength and unity, not for love." "And what do you want?" he asked. She didn't answer right away. "I want to feel free," she said softly, "even just for a moment. With someone who doesn't see me as a symbol." He looked at her. I know," she said, looking back. "That's why I come to you." A quiet breeze passed between them. The flowers swayed gently. "You helped me fix the crown," she said, "but in truth, you helped me fix myself too." Alex tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. "I don't know what will happen next," she said, "but I wanted to give you this moment, before duty returns." She leaned forward slightly, her eyes searching his. Alex felt like the world had slowed down. The stars above blinked gently. Her face was inches from his, and yet she wasn't reaching for anything, just waiting. Not as a princess, not as a ruler, but as someone searching for something real. He reached out slowly and took her hand. They didn't speak again. They just sat there under the twin moons, fingers entwined. The days after the ceremony moved slowly, like the palace itself was holding its breath. Princess Laena had spoken with strength before the council. The crown had shined with calm power on her head. Her people accepted her as the true heir again. But behind the perfect image, whispers grew. Alex felt the change in the air. Guards no longer nodded at him. Servants kept their eyes down. Even some engineers in the palace halls began to avoid him. He knew why. The rumor had spread. People said the princess was too close to the human craftsman. He stayed in the workshop most days. His job with the crown was complete, but he worked on small tools just to stay busy. Sometimes he thought of leaving quietly. Other times, he thought of that night in the garden, of her hand in his. The memory stayed with him. One evening, a message came, not through official lines, but from a small servant girl who placed a folded note on his bench and walked away. It read, "Come to the old garden wall." After sunset, there was no name. But Alex knew who it was. He went just as the sky turned purple, the two moons glowing above. The old garden wall was made of worn stone and covered in soft vines. It was a quiet place, far from the busy parts of the palace. She was already there, standing near the edge, looking out at the dark fields beyond. "You came," she said without turning. "Of course," he replied. She turned to face him. Her expression was calm, but her eyes were filled with thought. "I needed space to think," she said. "About everything." Alex stepped closer. "Are you all right?" "Not really," she said softly. "The council has been pressuring me to take a mate. They sent new names today, all Alari nobles." He stayed silent, but I keep thinking of you, she continued. Of our talks. Your hands on the crown. The way you listen. Alex met her eyes. "I didn't mean to bring you trouble." "You didn't," she said. "You brought me something true. Something I didn't know I needed." He looked away. "But they don't see it that way." "No," she said. "They see a human." Craftsman, not a leader. And what do you see? He asked quietly. She took a step closer. I see someone who sees me, she said. Not the title, not the crown, just me. The wind passed between them again, quiet and cold. I wish we could run, she whispered. Leave it all behind. No politics, no duties, just us. Alex gave a small smile. You'd get bored of me after a few days. No, she said. Stepping closer, I'd finally feel free. Suddenly a sharp voice cut through the air. Princess. They turned. Advisor Sailor stood near the path, a deep frown on his face. He walked forward with heavy steps. This is not the place for secret meetings, he said coldly. Ina faced him without fear. I go where I choose. You risk everything, Sailor said. The council is already watching. They speak of removing your right to lead. Because of him? She asked, pointing to Alex. Because I speak with someone who understands me? Because you break tradition? Sailor snapped. Traditions are what hold this empire together. Alex stepped back. I don't. Want to cause damage? Maybe I should leave. No, Lyanna said firmly. But Sailor turned to Alex. You've done your work, human. Take your ship and go. Your presence is not needed anymore. Alex looked at Lyanna. Her eyes were steady, but something behind them broke. I'll go, Alex said, voice low. But not because of fear. Only because I don't want her to lose her place because of me. He turned and walked away, leaving her standing under the moonlight. That night, Alex packed his tools. A palace guard came with a silent escort. No one spoke. The shuttle bay was quiet when he boarded, as the ship rose. Alex looked out the window one last time. He whispered goodbye. But in the palace, Lyanna sat alone in her chamber. The crown was beside her, glowing soft gold. She stared at it. But her mind was far away. She touched the center gem, and it pulsed faintly. You were repaired by his hands, she said softly. You hold the memory of his care. Do you remember him too? She stood and walked to the window. Below, the fields stretched far and dark. Above, the stars blinked. She placed a hand on her heart and whispered. He didn't say it back. I know. Outside the door, Advisor Sailor waited. He heard nothing but silence. And he walked away thinking it was over, but it wasn't. Days passed. Then a week Alex traveled alone through the stars. He had taken a small work contract on a mining moon far from the palace world of Thurles. The pay was simple. The people didn't care about royalty, crowns, or council laws. Only wanted machines fixed. Alex worked quietly, trying to forget. But he couldn't. He kept thinking about Lyanna, the way she smiled. The way her voice softened when she talked about her mother. How her eyes held storms and calm at the same time. He missed her more than he expected. More than he thought he should. In the evenings after work, he sat by the edge of the outpost and looked up at the stars. The twin moons were gone now, replaced by a dull red sun and dusty skies. It wasn't the same. He often asked himself the same question. Why had he left? The answer was always the same too. He left. Because he didn't want to break her world. But in doing so, he had broken something inside himself. Meanwhile, back in Thurles, Princess Lyanna was no longer silent. She spoke strongly during council meetings. She refused every marriage match offered. She made decisions that challenged old laws. And she wore the crown every day, not because she had to, but because it reminded her of him. Advisor Sailor warned her again and again. You are becoming reckless, he said. No, she replied. I'm becoming myself. When the council demanded a reason for her bold actions, she spoke plainly. For too long, we ruled by fear. I will rule with truth. And my truth is this: I will not marry for power. I will not pretend to love someone for politics. And if you try to remove me for that, then go ahead, but I will not lie to my people. Many were shocked. Some clapped quietly. But others planned in secret. Lyanna returned to her private chamber that night and stood at the window. Again, the stars were bright, and the garden below glowed with moonlight. She whispered, "I wonder where you are, human." The crown beside her pulsed faintly. Far across space, Alex sat at his own window. He held a tiny carved stone in his hand, something she had once given him during one of their quiet talks. It had her mother's family mark on it. He smiled sadly then. One morning, everything changed. A royal message came through his datapad. Not a council order, not from an advisor. It was a personal message from Lyanna herself. He opened it with shaking hands. It read, "You fixed my crown, but you left my heart broken. Meet me where the silver fields touch the wind towers. 1 week. If you come, come not as a worker. Come as the man who held my hand under the moons." Alex read it twice. Then again, his chest felt tight. The choice. It was clear, a week later, just as the sun began to set over Theralis. A small, unmarked ship landed quietly on a soft green plain. The fields danced in the wind. The ancient towers nearby stood like silent watchers. Light, and it was already there, standing beside a stone pillar carved with old Alari symbols. She turned when she heard the ship's ramp open. Alex stepped out. No royal guards, no armor. Just him. He walked toward her slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. "You came," she said, her voice softer than he remembered. "You called," he replied. She smiled, but her eyes were wet. "I wasn't sure if you would." "I almost didn't," he admitted. "I thought I should stay away. Let you have your crown, your future." "But you are part of my future," she said, taking a step forward. "Don't you see that?" Looked at her carefully. "Are you sure? The council?" "I'm done listening to them," she said. "I listened to others my whole life. Now I want to listen to my own heart." Alex swallowed. "Then listen to this." He stepped even closer. "I tried to forget you. I worked. I traveled. I told myself it was better this way. But I kept. Seeing your face, hearing your voice, feeling your hand in mine." He took her hand gently. "So yes. When you asked me before, I didn't answer. But now I will." He looked into her eyes. "Yes. I love you, Lyanna." She breathed in sharply, as if she had been holding that breath for weeks. Her hand gripped his tighter. "I love you too," she whispered. They stood there, the wind blowing around them, the silver fields shining under the sun. Number palace walls. No royal guards, no rules, just them. Alex pulled something from his pocket. A small crystal piece from the crown, one that had fallen during repairs but was still whole. "I kept this," he said. "I thought it was lost. But maybe it was meant to stay with me." She touched the crystal with care. "Then keep it," she said. "Let it be the start of something new." They stood side by side, watching the sky turn gold. A few days after the meeting in the silver fields, Alex returned to Theralis, but not through secret paths or hidden messages. This time, he arrived by royal call. A new order had been passed by Princess Lyanna herself. Let him walk through the front gates. As his ship landed on the royal platform, guards stood waiting, not with weapons drawn, but with respectful bows. Alex stepped out wearing clean, simple clothes. He carried no tools, no scanner, no case of wires or gadgets. He was not here to fix machines. He was here for her, inside the palace. The halls still shined like before, but something was different. People looked at him with curiosity now, not with fear or cold stares. Whispers still followed, but so did nods. His name had spread. But this time, with respect, he entered the grand hall where the High Council waited. 12 members, each dressed in traditional robes, stood around a wide circle. And in the center stood Lyanna. She wore the crown he had repaired when she saw him. Her face lit up not with royal grace, but with something deeper, something personal. "You came," she said in front of all. Alex bowed slightly. "Always." Of the council elders stepped forward. His voice was sharp, but calm. "We recognize that your bond with this human has caused concern, Princess. But we also see that your leadership has not weakened. In fact, it has grown stronger." Another counselor, A woman with silver skin and kind eyes added, "You have brought change, Lyanna, and change is not always a threat." The oldest member, seated on a tall chair made of crystal, raised a hand. "Do you still stand by your choice?" he asked. Lyanna took a deep breath. "I do," she said clearly. "I choose Alex, not for politics, not for duty. I choose him because when I am with him, I am not just a crown. I am me, and I believe that a ruler who knows herself can serve her people better." Silence followed then the elder nodded once. "Very well, let your choice stand." A wave of quiet moved through the room. No one cheered. But no one objected either. Outside, the royal bells rang slowly. Not for war, but for ceremony, but for unity. Later that evening, Lyanna and Alex walked through the royal garden. It's the same place where she had once spoken about her mother. It's the same place where she had dreamed of freedom. Now she was walking freely with him. "You surprised them?" Alex said. Maybe she smiled. "But I didn't do this alone. You changed me too." He looked at her. "What happens next?" She stopped near the small pool where moonlight reflected off the water. "We lead together, not as queen and subject, not as alien and human. As two people who believe in something better." He reached for her hand. "And the council? The people?" "Some will support us," she said. "Some will watch closely. Some will wait for us to fail. Are you afraid?" "I was," she said, "but not anymore." Then she looked at him, her voice quiet. "Do you remember the first time you touched the crown?" Alex nodded. It felt heavy. "Not because of the metal," she said, "but because of the history inside it. It's the weight of choices, the pain, the silence." He remembered, she continued, "But when you held it, it didn't fight you. It trusted you. Maybe it knew I'd be careful," he said. "Or maybe," she whispered, "it saw something in you that I see now." Her eyes locked with his. They were close like they had been in the garden that night. But this time, nothing stood between them. No advisors. No doubt, no silence. "You once asked me what I saw when I looked at you," she said. "I see someone who listens. Someone who never asked for power, but holds it with care. Someone who gave my heart the space to breathe." Alex didn't say anything right away. He just held her hand tighter. They stood beneath the twin moons, like they had once before. And then she leaned closer, her voice almost a breath. "Do you love me, human?" This time he didn't freeze. He smiled. "Yes, I always have." She closed her eyes and rested her forehead against his. "Then stay," she whispered. "Not just tonight. Not just until the council forgets. Stay for everything." He nodded. "I'm not going anywhere." The wind passed gently around them. The stars blinked above. The crown still on her head glowed softly like a heartbeat. And in that quiet moment, two lives from two worlds became one. Not because of war, not because of duty, but because love had found its way between a human engineer and a princess with a broken crown. And this time, nothing would break it again.